Laughter exploded through the officers' club at Fort Braxton like a cannon blast, bouncing off crystal chandeliers and mahogany walls, rattling whiskey glasses with each echo. At the center of it all, Colonel Marcus Steele leaned forward in his leather chair, eyes glittering with cruel amusement as he studied the small figure before him. A 12-year-old black girl stood alone, straight-backed, silent, resolute. Maya Johnson clutched a yellowing envelope and wore her father's medal of honor pinned proudly to her chest. Sergeant David Johnson, the man whose blood still stained foreign soil. She was here on the anniversary of his death, standing before a circle of powerful white men who looked at her as if she were nothing more than a disruption. "Sir," Maya said again, her voice even, betraying no fear, "I respectfully request permission to use the firing range today. I want to honor my father by shooting just as he taught me." Steele threw back his head and laughed so loudly the walls seemed to tremble. "Did you hear that? The little girl wants to shoot." He slammed his hand on the table. "What's next, kid? You want to drive our tanks? Fly a jet?" Mocking voices followed. "She should be playing with dolls," one officer muttered. "Or in school," another sneered. What none of them knew, what they could never have imagined, was that Maya Johnson had spent the last 3 years training in silence. Every weekend at dawn, a trusted veteran, her father's old friend, led her onto the range. She'd studied every technique her father had whispered into her ears since she was 7. She wasn't here to play. She wasn't here to pretend. She was here to prove. Steele stood and walked toward her with slow, deliberate steps. "This is no playground. Go home, little girl. Watch cartoons. Let the men handle the real work." Maya's cheeks burned, but she didn't flinch. Her voice came low and steady. "With all due respect, sir, I have the necessary clearance. I meet the requirements, and my request complies with base regulations." Few laughs faltered. Major Peterson blinked. The girl knew the rule book. Steele scoffed. "Fine," he said with a smirk. "You want a test? Hit 3 out of 10 targets at 50 meters. Do that, and I'll sign your papers myself. Fail and you never bother us again." "I accept," Maya said. She wasn't there just to remember her father. She was there to fulfill a promise whispered to a flag-draped grave 3 years ago. Promise to be worthy of his name. As they walked to the range, the officers kept their distance. Their jokes came sharper now, like knives tossed carelessly into her back. She faint from the recoil, or wet herself from the noise. But Maya walked steadily behind them, absorbing every insult like armor. Her heart pounded not with fear, but focused. At the range, Steele gestured dramatically. "Choose your weapon, girl. Maybe the lightest one. Try not to drop it." Maya approached the table without hesitation and picked up a Glock 19, the same model her father used to teach her how to shoot. Sergeant Rodriguez, watching from the side, squinted. Something in her movements stirred memories. She cleared the chamber, checked the mag, and tested the trigger in one seamless motion. Too smooth, too practiced. Steele sneered. "Your daddy taught you to play soldier, huh? Pity he's not here to protect you anymore." Maya didn't blink. She stepped onto the firing line and closed her eyes. In that moment, the girl disappeared. In her place stood a soldier, her breath stilled. The wind paused. Her father's voice echoed in her memory. "The perfect shot happens in the silence between your heartbeats." When she opened her eyes, the transformation was visible. Even Rodriguez, a combat veteran, felt it. The officers around Steele shifted uncomfortably, the laughter dying in their throats. "I'm ready," she said. Steele crossed his arms. "You have 60 seconds. 10 shots. Try not to embarrass yourself." The first shot cracked through the air like lightning. The second followed with machine-like precision. Rodriguez leaned into his binoculars. His heart skipped. Dead. Center. Second shot, same place. Third dash, same. He whispered under his breath. She's better than David. Steele kept smirking, but his fingers twitched. The cadence was too clean, too calm. By the sixth shot, even the most arrogant officers had fallen silent. Rodriguez didn't even need to look anymore. He knew. Her stance, her rhythm, her breathing, it was textbook. No, better than textbook. It was instinctual. It was legendary. By the ninth shot, it felt as if the whole base was holding its breath. On the 10th, Maya made a tiny adjustment, just a flick of her wrist to account for a breeze no one else had noticed. The shot rang out. Then silence. Maya engaged the safety, lowered the Glock, and turned to Steele. 10 shots completed, sir. Steele tried to laugh, but the sound caught in his throat. Rodriguez approached the target with binoculars and froze. He lowered them slowly, his face pale. Colonel, you need to see this for yourself. Steele grabbed the lens with shaking hands and looked. What he saw made his legs weaken. 10 shots. One hole. Not a mark out of place. Not a millimeter of variation. The kind of grouping sniper teams train for years to achieve. The kind of grouping that isn't taught, it's gifted. The officers scrambled for a look. One by one, their faces drained of color. Rodriguez stepped forward and addressed Maya with a salute. Miss Johnson, your father would be bursting with pride. Today you didn't just honor him, you set a new standard for this base. Around them, the atmosphere had changed entirely. The mocking whispers, gone. The dismissive smiles, erased. In their place, awe, respect, reverence. How? Steele finally muttered. How can a child shoot like that? Maya met his eyes, calm, unshaken. My father said real respect is earned through action, not words. And when someone doubts your worth, you don't argue. You show them. Rodriguez turned to her again. Would you be willing to demonstrate at 200 meters? Maya's eyes glinted. I'd be honored. 6 months later, Maya Johnson, age 13, walked the halls of Fort Braxton with a golden badge on her chest. Junior Precision Marksmanship Instructor. Army Exceptional Talent Program. After that fateful morning, she shattered every marksmanship record. On the base, 50 meters, 100 meters, 200 meters, even 500 meters iron sight challenges. Her 500-meter shot, hitting a coin-sized target, made hardened veterans weep. The story and video went viral. Little girl destroys. Racist colonel with impossible shot, 47 million views. 2 weeks, Colonel Steele was demoted, reassigned, and ultimately retired in disgrace. Major Thompson and Captain Williams were reprimanded and sidelined indefinitely. But Maya? She became a national inspiration. Letters flooded in from children around the world, especially young black girls saying, "You showed me it's possible." The Pentagon created new programs to support talent from underserved communities. A new zero-tolerance policy for base discrimination was enacted, and the shooting range? It was renamed the David Johnson Firing Range, a bronze plaque installed beneath it reading, "Where courage met legacy," and a little girl reminded us what excellence truly looks like. Maya still visited her father's grave every Saturday, but now she stood taller. "I did it, Dad," she whispered. "I showed them what we're made of." Never underestimate the quiet ones. Sometimes the smallest figure in the room carries the heaviest legacy and the sharpest aim. And sometimes, single moment of underestimated courage rewrites the rules for everyone.